PowerPoint presentation for environmental education, EE21. I'm doing this for your tutor, Mrs. Nolene Bock. There are her contact details. General information. There are a few things to remember when answering the examination questions. Read the examination instructions and adhere to it at all times. Please write neatly, understandably and clearly. Number each page correctly. Before answering any question, it is important for you to understand exactly what is asked in the questions. When reading the questions, the action verbs used will indicate what is expected of you. Make sure that you understand the meanings of the different verbs. Refer to study guides for meaning or definitions of action verbs. Please look at the marks allocated to each question and decide what the length of your answer should be for the marks allocated. For example, do not cover an entire page for 2 marks. It is important to remember that although the examination paper does not necessarily cover all the work in your study guide, it does not mean that you only study the work you did in the assignment. All the information in the study guide is important. Unit 1. Self-awareness and positive self-image for learners. In this unit, it is important to know how to guide learners to give personal information about themselves. Part of your responsibility as a teacher is to win the child's trust and get them to be comfortable with you. Before you guide them into giving personal information, you need to explain why they need to give information. For example, the child might be lost, hurt, have an allergy, or might have a condition. Therefore, it is important for them to be able to know and provide certain information about themselves. For example, name and surname, age, date of birth, parents' names or guardians' names, physical address, the street and town, etc. Components of learners' self-image. Here, DPPE students should know the operations a child might use when there is a discrepancy between the self-image and the ideal self. For example, avoidance, low motivation, compensation, resistance. Also important to know the following: promoting learners' beliefs that they are unique and worthy. Strategies or ways you can help a child express his or her feelings. Young children deal with many emotions, but they often do not have the words to talk about how they are feeling. Instead, they act out these emotions in very physical or inappropriate ways. You as a teacher can help learners to understand and express their emotions. For example, by naming their feelings and then encouraging them to talk about how they are feeling. Also important to know the concept assertiveness, how to assert your interpersonal rights. Example, say no to a request, not give other people reasons for every action you take. Ask other people to listen to your point of view when you speak to them. Differentiate or point out differences between assertively and aggressively. 3 ways to be assertive: broken record, escalation, time out. In Unit 2, body parts, their functions, and the role of the senses. In Unit 2, the following are important: the functions of the different body parts. The human body is the entire structure of the human organism, and its main parts are head, neck, trunk, limbs. Each body part has different functions and contains different organs. For example, head contains the brain and the four sense organs: nose, eyes, ears, tongue, only for DPPE. The circulatory system is a body-wide network of blood vessels and lymph. Powered by the heart, it is the body's distribution system to organs with oxygen, hormones, and essential nutrients that helps it function properly. The circulatory system consists of four major components: heart, arteries, veins, blood. Important also the functions of the major components, DJPE only. As important is the five senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, smell, and their sensory functions as well as their role in learning. Furthermore, you need to know how to take good care of your body and what children have to be taught on this topic. Example, body care, practicing good hygiene, getting plenty exercise, healthy eating habits. Also give attention to the glossary in this unit. Important to know the difference between a fine motor skill and a gross motor skill. Unit 3, features, roles, and responsibilities of family. Families are the foundation of society. Children have to develop the sense that family relationships are an important part of their lives and that every family is different. In Unit 3, you should know the traditional roles and responsibilities of different family members. For example, father is responsible for food, shelter, money, and making of important decisions for the family. How a teacher can get children from non-traditional families to participate in discussions about their family members. Here you need to point out, for example, a family can be made up of different people. Family members do not always live together, etc. Features of positive family relationships and how to maintain such positive relationships. Many families struggle to deal with social, economic, and emotional issues that affect how their families function. Make sure you know the factors or events or problems that cause or contribute to family stress. For example, death of a spouse or child, divorce, retrenchment, etc. Strategies or ways that can help families to overcome stress and cope with it. Example, know that a family is not alone in dealing with stressful events. Develop a support system, etc. Also important to know the different types of families. For example, matrifocal, consanguineal, etc. Give attention to the glossary of the unit and know specifically the differences between polygamy and bigamy. Unit 4, home addresses and features of different homes and different building materials. In Unit 4, you have to study important landmarks to identify on the way home, to school, and other places. For example, walk the route to and from school with the children, pointing out landmarks and safe places to go if they are being followed or need help. Encourage children to take a friend when walking or cycling to and from school. Remind children never to accept a ride from anyone unless you have told them it is okay to do so. It is very important for young children to learn their parents' addresses and telephone numbers as soon as possible. Young children learn best through play. Make sure you know playful ways to teach learners to memorize it. For example, make a jingle out of it. Unit 5. Features of the school environment. The school environment is a big part of any learner's life. Some spend more time at school with their teacher than with their families. Every learner at school needs to know the school environment and be comfortable in the class and school ground. In Unit 5, you should know the following: the importance of identifying school staff members. It is important for learners to know all the school staff members to ensure that they feel safe and welcome. You cannot expect a child to identify strangers if they do not know who belong. School rules and the suitable ways of behavior they promote. It is of utmost importance that a school instructs the parents and students at the beginning of each year on how they can help make the school a safe and welcoming place. For example, explaining why the school doors are locked. Announce and explain the school rules, particularly the school philosophy and goals. It is important for each school to determine what rules will be set for the learners. Many of these rules will be specific to the school and the community it serves, but some rules should be universal among all schools. For example, learners should arrive on time every school day. Learners shall attend each official school day. Importance of having and obeying school rules and what every child should know about rules. Example, rules are there for personal safety, academic reputation, peer consideration, respect for authority. Unit 6. Elements of own and other cultures as seen in the community or society. You have to give attention to elements of learners' own and others' cultures. The learners in your class will have different cultures, and you as the teacher needs to gather information about the cultures in the surrounding areas so that you can teach them the differences of these cultures. Here you should know what children need to know about the other learners in their class. Ways to respect other people and their cultures. Learn to accept and respect people's cultures is an important step that opens your mind to the world around you and everyone's unique differences. We have to treat people the way we like them to treat us. For example, do not insult or make fun of them. Listen to others when they speak. Take a look at their history. Teachers can teach learners to appreciate diversity and treat it with respect. Give attention to ways in which teachers can assist children and young people to do so. Here we talk about the following. Talk about stereotypes. Be a role model for children and young people. Model healthy attitudes. Encourage diverse friendships. Emphasize similarities. Unit 7. Categories of domestic and local wild animals and how to care for them. Part of a child's environment includes animals. It is important for children to know the difference between domesticated and wild animals and know the dangers and joys that involve their environment. Caring for a small number of pet farm animals, such as poultry, can be really rewarding. However, before you make the big decision to get some farm animals as pets, there are some very important things or questions to think about. For example, what type of farm animals are suitable? Can you get appropriate training or experience in farm animal care? Can you provide the right type of environment, etc.? Also know what has been achieved in Namibia regarding sustainable management of wildlife resources. For example, increase in buffer zones around the country's protected area network, recovery of wildlife population, increased economic and social benefits to communications. Unit 8. The importance, saving, and prevention of water pollution. Namibia is a large country with vast deserts, and as part of environmental education, it is crucial to teach children to look after our water resources. Know the following concepts: direct and indirect water, transpiration, precipitation. Also know the uses and ways to save or conserve water in Namibia. Also, easy things you can do to help in this regard. Furthermore, you have to know the dangers of drinking polluted water, organic and inorganic elements in tap water. Also, give attention to table 8.5.1 in your study guide. Also of importance is the ways how to prevent the pollution of water resources. Conserve water by turning off the tap when running water is not necessary. It reduces the amount of contaminated water that needs treatment. Unit 9. Local plants, seeds and leaves. The main topics to learn in Unit 9 are identification of the 4 different vegetation zones in Namibia. Poisonous plants in Namibia, for example, the rooibos or the poison leaf. Namibian plants with medicinal value. Important to know the name of the plant and what they are used for. For example, devil's claw alleviate a number of ailments, including arthritis. Plant leaves may be considered as the most important life-giving part of the plant. Important to know the function of leaves. For example, leaves are the site of food production called photosynthesis. Unit 10. Weather patterns, seasonal changes and implications thereof. In this unit, you should be able to compare the concepts weather and climate. Indicate similarities and differences. For example, weather and climate are related concepts though they do not refer to the same phenomenon. Both describe atmospheric conditions. Describe Namibia's weather all year round. Example, daytime temperatures are hot, extremely hot in summer. Nights are cold and some areas frequently go below freezing in winter. Explain common features of the 4 seasons. Unit 11. Key factors that influence one's health. The most important thing in life is being healthy. And as humans beings, we can ensure that we are as healthy as can be by eating correctly, sleeping enough, keeping ourselves and our environment clean. Here you should know the difference between healthy and unhealthy food. For example, healthy food is nutritious food that is good for us and promotes health, whereas unhealthy food has no or little nutritional value. Why exercise are necessary to be healthy. Importance of sleep for kids. Example, kids may feel tired or cranky or may be unable to think clearly. A school assignment that's normally easy may feel impossible. Keeping our environment clean is an important part of our lives. It is important to focus on this as we have to make sure that the environment is preserved for future generations. The 5 steps that we can follow in order to keep the environment clean. Reduce, recycle, and reuse are the famous 3 R's that can keep our environment clean. How you can teach children to become good stewards of the environment, example, through environmental education, setting a good example, getting involved together, and observing others. Unit 12. Safety behavior of pedestrians, passengers, and around the home and school. In this unit, it is important to know good passenger behavior. The presence of passengers in a vehicle and their behavior can positively and negatively influence road safety. Passengers can make a significant contribution to improve safety by looking after the driver, performing tasks on his or her behalf, looking after themselves, wearing a seatbelt at all times. School bus safety starts with parents and teachers every morning and afternoon. Most school bus accidents occur when children are outside the bus. Therefore, make sure your children understand the following school bus safety rules. For example, be on time, never run to or from the bus, etc. DJPE students should also know the general safety habits while walking and crossing the roads. Walking smart, for example, using pedestrian crossing or cross at traffic signals. Also know how you can help children practice safe behaviors, for example, not talking to strangers, safety in numbers, choosing friends carefully. Some of the most challenging moments of parenthood and teaching are when you know that a child has a problem, but he or she is unable to talk about it. What can parents and teachers do when children are reluctant to share their troubles or problems? Unit 13. Family, school, and national customs or celebrations. Important topics to learn in this unit. Types of school celebrations, for example, religious celebrations, depending on religion in school. National festivals, for example, the Namibian National Day, 21st of March, to celebrate the independence of Namibia. How to plan a birthday. Keep in mind that food need not be part of the school parties. Instead, find ways to recognize the child, celebrate them, and make them feel special. For example, making a sign, a sash, a crown, a button or badge for the birthday child. Some valuable tips for studying successfully. We understand that to be successful, one has to work hard and with determination. Therefore, we offer the following study tips so you can keep progressing positively towards achieving the success you deserve. Find some study buddies. If you need the companionship of other students for academic success, feel free to ask IOL office for help in identifying other students who may want to study with you. Set goals and deadlines and stick to them. Stay in touch with your tutor. Email or call your assigned tutor when and if necessary. Best times to contact your tutor, Mrs. Bock, is between 1800 hours and 2000 hours. See her telephone and email address. Enjoy your studies. Good luck and all of the best for your exams. Thank you.